We would like to welcome those of you in who are tuning in on Hockey TV and on YouTube.com. This is match number 3 between the Wichita Falls Wildcats and the visiting Topeka RoadRunners. Match 3 of 3, this extended home series for you Wildcats fans coming to an end here tonight. And it's been one heck of a tumultuous series thus far. 2 games have been played, 1 win aside. Both of them were decided by just 1 goal. And in both cases, it didn't look like that would end up being the result, but it was. Thursday night was dominated by the Wildcats. Friday night was dominated by Topeka, all the way up until the third period, until which point the game completely flipped on its head, and basically all mayhem broke loose. Imagine this scenario. You're a 17-year-old hockey player surrounded by similarly aged teammates. Your head coach is suspended. You're losing 6-1 in the second period on home ice in front of family members who've traveled thousands of miles to watch you play. And you look up to the stands and see dozens of people leaving the arena, heading out to the streets because they've given up hope on the outcome of the match. In this situation, how do you not feel hopeless? How do you not feel defeated? Somehow the Wildcats looked anything but hopeless and defeated in the third period of last night's 8-7 barn burner. Coach Nelson went into the locker room during the second intermission with a smile on his face with his team down 6-2 and said, "We've got nothing to lose. Let's have some fun." In response, the Cats scored 3 straight third period goals to make the score 6-5. Then the teams exchanged scores one by one as third period pandemonium at the KC showed no signs of stopping. The score went from 6-5 to 7-5 to 7-6 to 8-6 to 8-7. When was it going to end? It ended when Ryan Burnett made the score 8-7 in favor of Topeka. There was still 2:33 showing on the clock. The way the period had gone, it seemed inevitable that the Cats would tie the game and force overtime. Going to a late power play, they pulled goaltender Jared Dempsey for a 6th attacker, but just could not reach that elusive tie to force OT and fell by a final of 8-7 in regulation time. It was the Wildcats' first loss in 5 games, and as disappointing as last night's final outcome was, if you're a Wildcats fan, despite a Herculean effort to tie the game, it might just have been the best thing to happen for a young Wildcats team. Yes, their 5-game winning streak came to an end. Yes, Shreveport passed them up in the South Division standings. However, the season is 60 games long, folks, and in last night's defeat, the Wildcats learned something far more valuable than 2 points in the standings. They've proven they can come from behind to erase large deficits, but they also know that they're not invincible. If they can ride that third period momentum into tonight's game, they will be tough to stop for Topeka, that's for sure. The fourth line led the way for the Cats last night. It's fair to argue that last season's championship run was built upon 2 main on-ice principles: conditioning. The team rolled 4 lines on an even rotation last season. Wildcats' so-called fourth more than just mere minute munchers whose sole purpose is to give the top guns a break. Blake Ripley, Stephen Tilley, and C.J. Walker each had multiple point nights and were each named the 3 stars of the game. Tonight, Coach Nelson has made them the top line, and they will be the starting forwards who will set the tone for this decisive game number 3. And Ethan Daniels will each get a chance tonight as the lineup in the final home game between the Cats and the Runners. Keys has been itching to play after having been scratched the last few games. The hard-hitting power forward will be playing in his first home game since October 7th, and you can bet he's raring to go. He'll be looking to ignite the Wildcats and help propel them to a series victory. Daniels has also been a healthy scratch for games 1 and 2 of this series and seeks to bring his playmaking skills to the table tonight in front of family members in all the way from Anchorage, Alaska. Now we await tonight's ceremonial puck dropper, and looks like we might just go ahead and skip that here tonight. I think Debbie Fleetwood, our sales director, is going to escort Big John Wilson down the red carpet right now to the circle near Jared Dempsey, who is tonight's starting goaltender for the Wildcats. We'll get the starting lineups read your way momentarily, but first we await the singing of our country's national anthem. So Topeka's starting lineup tonight, they're going to go with this red-hot guy. Why not? John DeRoche, who had a hat trick in his second game as a Roadrunner last night, had a tremendous game. Probably should have been one of the 3 stars. I just couldn't resist giving it to the 4th line for the Wildcats yesterday. But John DeRoche, the Quinnipiac commit, he will start centering the line between Max Harper and Jeff Mikowski. Harper on his right, Mikowski on his left. On defense, Matt Barnes, the Windsor, Ontario native, flanked by Trevor Zins on his right side. Emil Granso, the Danish netminder, he will be getting his first start, a native of Gentofte, Denmark, and it looks like we will have a ceremonial puck dropper. Didn't quite see the lady down there until the national anthem had been sung. It's her birthday, so the KYC giving her a round of applause. She gets set to drop the game's first puck. And Max Harper and Seamus Donahue face off one another right now. There she goes. Seamus Donahue, the Wildcats captain, starting on left defense with Kareem Del Ponte on his right. Up front, again, it's this 4th line that has done so many good things for the Wildcats in this series, and were finally rewarded last night. Each of them had a multi-point game. Tilley with 2 goals and an assist, Ripley with a goal and 2 assists, CJ Walker with 4 assists in front of his family members in all the way from Boise, Idaho. So that so-called 4th line will be tonight's first line, and you got to love the confidence that Coach Nelson is putting in those 3 young men. In net, it will be Jared Dempsey, who came in relief of Evan Moyes last night to do a little bit of damage control. Played okay, but was not his best performance, and truthfully, folks, it wasn't really anybody's best performance last night, and if you're watching your plus-minus, if you're a player in last night's game, you might as well not bother, because it's pretty safe to say it took a beating last night. This is match number 3 of 3 between the Wildcats and the Roadrunners. The North American Hockey League's longest-standing rivalry has one next addition to its storied book right now. The opening face-off just about underway. This first period of Wildcats hockey brought to you by American Classifieds. Here we go. Game number 3. The Cats fail to win the opening draw, though they get it deep into Topeka territory right off the bat, and it goes out of play. Just 9 seconds. Thanks for joining us on your Saturday. If you'd like to make any sort of comment, complaint, concern, what have you, go ahead and tweet at WF Wildcats. I'll be sure to answer you in a timely manner, or you can use the chat tab on the new and improved Hockey TV. The chat tab being all the way on the right side. Go ahead and send a message, and I'd be sure to get back to you before this game comes to an end. Donahue does a little head fake, goes down the wall, he scoots in with a lane, he shoots, and it was waffle-warded away by Grant, so I think he made his first save as a Topeka Roadrunner just then, though it might have gone wide. We'll see if they call it a save or a missed shot. Meanwhile, it's taken behind the net. CJ Walker sets up Tilley, left circle, who tried to give it across for Ripley. High and in the air, Ripley had to take a baseball swing at it. Now it's collected by Del Ponte, who will throw it back in. Good first shift of the game, and the Wildcats' so-called 4th line, tonight's first line, has set the tone early. Skvortsov with a good forecheck knocks the puck off the stick of Trevor Zins. Picked up Carballo, finds Skvortsov, who reverses one out to the right point. Wearing a drive, stopped by Granso, and that is the Danes' first save as a Topeka Roadrunner. So if you're watching from Topeka, might want to, from your living rooms, give that man a round of applause. Emil Granso playing tonight, starting tonight for Josh Cameras and the Roadrunners after Ryan Snowden looked like he pulled something last night. We hope the best for him. We hope he's okay. He had something awkward happen to him right after CJ Regula scored, and to be honest, folks, I couldn't quite tell what happened. At first, I thought it might have been a tactic to slow down the momentum of the Wildcats because they were coming, but it was not. He was really hurt, and he's unavailable for tonight's game. So Orgel pinches down the wall a little bit. Backhands a pass over the stick of Ricky Carballo, and finally able to chip it past their own blue line. Across the red line yet have Topeka. Waring throws it in from center ice. Granso will leave it now for Jack DiMatteo. The veteran Topeka defenseman springs Peyton Franti down the left wing. He cuts into the slot. Had his pocket picked by Jonathan Waring. Now it's Orgel in his own zone, who will angle it off the glass and back out to center. Topeka's Devin Fields throws it in on net from center ice. No trouble for Dempsey. Fields keeps it, gloves it down to the ice. The puck was laying flat, and his shot was blocked by C.J. Regula. Rolls all the way back to Granso, and he hangs on to it. Gets a bit of a snow shower shortly thereafter by C.J. Regula. His father's in attendance here tonight, if I'm not mistaken. C.J. Regula, a native of West Bloomfield, Michigan. That's no short distance. Well, the Daniels family is here. The Walker family is here. Regula, not sure if his family's here. I know his father's here. And I believe there's a few others. The Carballos. And that's the shortest trip of all. Just Keller, Texas, 100 miles away or so as Burnett shoots. And a blocker save is made by Granso. And now Fees working for it. Burnett and Fees playing on the same line together for the first time this season with C.J. Regula in between the two of them. Regula was a high school rival of Ryan Burnett's at Cranbrook Kingswood. But tonight, they're teammates instead of adversaries. Marcus Russell was waiting for the puck at center ice. Bendorf beat him to it. Bendorf centering tonight's fourth line. He is between Ethan Daniels and Jeff Skinner. Bendorf guns it down. Puck knocked off his stick there by Matt Barnes. He and Trevor Zins go behind their own goal line. Zins ends up with it, lost it into the slot. Bendorf has it. He shoots. He scores! Jonathan Bendorf, with his family in attendance from New Jersey, has got the ball rolling for the Wildcats, and it's 1-0. That is Jonathan Bendorf's sixth goal of the season. And what a shot it was. Check that fifth goal, rather. And last night was a tough one for Jonathan Bendorf, who his plus-minus took a beating worse than anyone's. He was a -5 last night, folks, and that is a bitter pill to swallow. Oh my, what a big collision on John DeRoche there by Seamus Donahue. Harper throws it through the blue paint all the way out to the left point. DiMattio's blast ricocheted high over the mask of Jared Dempsey. Comes to DeRoche near corner. He spins and centers off the stick of Dempsey. Picked up in the slot. A shot from Mikowski. Didn't get through. Del Ponte boarded up by Mikowski. Bendorf has it left half boards. Tries to clear. Good keep at the right point. Thrown in behind the net by Rosowski. Donahue beats everyone to it. He's able to just 4.5 minutes into this first period. It's already a 1-1 tie here at K. Yeager Coliseum. And this really isn't the kind of series we expected, certainly not after game one. A very close, tight checking battle, a 2-1 final in that game, and 15 goals scored, which is easily the highest of the season. I didn't have time today to do any research as to how many goals the Cats have scored in their history in a single. Venture to say that there weren't too many, more than 15 total in a single game. So tough win in the offensive. Zins with a shot. Pad save kicked away by the right pad of Dempsey. Now it's taken by Skvortov, who carries it down the right side, chips it past the defenseman. The Topeka defenseman carries behind the net with one hand on his stick, is able to get it back to the point. Del Ponte swings it over in the direction of Poikala. Couldn't settle it down. Poikala keeps it momentarily, then it's knocked back out of there. Poikala will drop it back towards Del Ponte, missed his stick. He's got to hurry. Russell beats him to it, then centers it. And Hart just mishandled the puck. Carballo banks it past Zins. Poikala turns on the Jets. He gets to it. Poikala from a tough angle with a shot. And Granso is able to rob his fellow Scandinavian there. Now Skvortov loses it. Carballo will try a wraparound, and that one is stopped by Granso as it rolls into the corner. RoadRunners scrambling a little bit. Alex Fry try to kick it down the wall. It goes there. Matt Barnes Fighting off pressure from Skvortsov, is able to settle things down. He finds Fry, who goes diagonally for Zins. Trevor Zins springs one ahead. Granowicz to the net, and he scores. And the referee just making sure this is a good goal. I think it will. I don't see why it wouldn't be, but he had his arms in the air. Looks like this will be Topeka's lead, first lead of the night. Granowicz able to, and just there, Topeka has scored its second goal. The referee, it looks like, Topeka's favor. The referee tonight, Dan Grimaudo, having a word with the timekeepers over there now as well, and Seamus, it looks like. And not sure what all the hubbub is about. That was a good goal. Granowicz with the goal for Topeka. I believe it was Barnes and Zins on the assists. And now the boos rain down for no reason here. But you gotta admire the heart. So Granowicz gets the nod to go right back out there with his line mates. TJ Regula countering. It's Nigel Nelson and Brendan Doyle for Topeka. Flanking Nick Granowicz. Doyle gets it. One hands it past Jonathan Waring into the far side corner. Waring hurries his way over there, then crunches up Doyle. Regula lost it, and a turnaround shot stopped by Dempsey. Burnett will just swat at it as it bounces over the stick of Topeka's Jack DiMatteo. Rosenbaum throws it out to center, past Regula. Granowicz clears it in. Behind the Cats' goal line, rolls in front. Dempsey pounces on it, hangs onto it. Just 3 shots on goal for Topeka, 2 of which have been goals. And the Cats' goaltending has struggled since Thursday night they were good, but Dempsey was rock solid in net, as was Ryan Snowden, and since that certainly was last who were dressed, got a crack at on the ice. Snowden and Moyes started. They were both pulled. Snowden was pulled because of an injury, and Moyes was pulled because he was having a tough night. So Skinner out racing his man to the puck and then centering, and Granso made a stick save, and it looked like he might have been interfered with. Nothing was called. Cyphus takes a jab at it. Bendorf intercepts it, lays one ahead too far for Skinner. Max Harper left it off. Here comes DeRoche with a shot, and a save is made by Dempsey. Hard, low shot. DeRoche, I think, tried to go low blocker on Jared Dempsey, the 6'2" netminder. Somewhere between 6'2" and 6'3", but he's a big boy, Jared Dempsey. That's where you got to shoot on him lower. He's going to stop just about everything high. So after winning the defensive zone faceoff, the Cats clear it all the way into the Topeka zone. Tilly and Bowery each fighting for it in the near side corner. Walker helping Tilly out. Walker steals it, centers for Ripley. What a save by Emil Granso. He robbed Blake Ripley there point blank. CJ Walker did well to pick the pocket of the Topeka defenseman. It was, I think it was Trevor Zins or possibly Matt Barnes behind the RoadRunners net, and then he centered. Ripley had to get rid of it very quickly. All he could do was one-time it in that situation. So he couldn't really quite pick the corner. Blake Ripley, a sniper. And he had an extra split second or two. I'm sure he would have buried that. He just had to get it on net, and he did. Big save by Granso. Del Ponte defending the rush here from Andrew Hart, who dangled past and then centered. Nobody was there. Mikowski worked up along the boards. Blake Ripley off the intercept, starts it down the left wing. Ripley feathers one past Rosenbaum. Walker crashes into DiMatteo. Ripley from the left corner. Tilly scoops up the loose puck. He will backhand one to the blue line. Del Ponte finding Ripley off his stick and into the corner again. DiMatteo angles it high and off the glass. Donahue bats it down to the ice, then swivels one back up in the direction of Ripley. Pass missing. Tilly. Rosenbaum plays it back into his own end for DiMatteo to have a look. DiMatteo gave it away. Terrible pass, and then Ripley was tripped up by the goaltender. Tilly was, rather, and this will be a penalty against Emil Granso for tripping. Oh my, terrible pass there by Jack DiMatteo. I think he just wanted to rim it around the end wall there. He was off target with his passing. Emil Granso certainly wasn't expecting that to happen, and the puck pinballed off the end boards right into Granso's kitchen. He clearly wasn't expecting it, and it wasn't really Granso's fault. He dove out to try to knock the puck away. He had no intention of tripping Stephen Tilly there, though, but he did save a goal. Tilly would have easily, I think, been able to tuck that into the short side of the net, but he couldn't because he fell down. So Tilly has drawn the second consecutive penalty against Topeka. Last night he drew one in the last minute and a half or so, and after that, after Tilly went down, the fans just erupted here. They knew the Cats are going to a power play with all that momentum, down just by one. They could smell a tie game. Cats just could not pull it off. Ryan Orgel walks the line, dishes it for Poikila. Left circle, tried to go back door, picked off by Bowery. He clears over the glove of Orgel and down. What a series Marshall Bowery is having. You can see part of the reason why he's been named the captain of the Topeka RoadRunners for this season. Last year's RoadRunner captain, Cam Strong, now at Dartmouth. The Wildcats have just iced the puck on the power play. This Wildcats power play is brought to you by Starbright Cleaners. Minute 35 to go on it. Alex Fry is the one serving it. So presumably somebody who doesn't take a lot of penalty-killing minutes, because the goaltender can't serve it. So Fry in the box for Topeka. Cats were 0 for 5 on the man advantage last night. Mikowski can't pull the trigger off the Topeka face-off win. It's taken by Carballo, who plays it into the right corner. Skvortsov pursuing it. Gets his stick tangled up with a Roadrunner. Jack DiMatteo picks the pocket of Poikila. Try saying that 5 times fast. Rosenbaum throws it down the ice. Dempsey decides to leave it off for Seamus, and here he comes. Seamus with a full head of steam, gaining the blue line on the left side. His dad is here from North Oaks, Minnesota. DeRoche with a good stick, steals it and clears it. Ryan Orgel plays it up and onto the right side. Here come the Cats in across the Topeka blue line. CJ Regula carries it wide, goes behind the net. Regula had a goal last night, as did Orgel, who gets it now. Returning it, Regula left circle. Taking a couple of strides in, Burnett swaps places. Regula from the goal line. Burnett heads to the front of the goal. Regula with a head fake, spinning it for Burnett. Burnett turns it through the goal mouth and missing CJ Walker. Out into the neutral zone, Del Ponte hooked. My goodness, nothing called either way. Yes, there will be at least one, possibly two. Del Ponte goes punching one of the Topeka RoadRunners, I think the guy who brought him down. And this will be a lot more than 2 minutes, folks. We had to know this series was going to start heating up as it has gone on. And my goodness, look at Matt Barnes over there. Barnes was tossing left after right against CJ Walker, who wasn't defending himself. He didn't want to go. Barnes trying to get into Walker's face right now. And Trent Williams, the linesman, sending Barnes to the penalty box where he belongs right now. Fans are loving this. This is just the first period. Imagine what this game turns into as it goes on. It started out Thursday night pretty clean. Two teams who are extremely unfamiliar with each other, playing each other for the first time this season. The Cats and the RoadRunners had had no contact since May 2nd, leading up until this series. So now they've seen each other for twice in the last 48 hours, and now again. So you expect the heatedness to increase as it's gone on. It certainly has. Yesterday we saw glimpses of it, but nothing like what we just saw a minute or two ago. Seamus Donahue and Max Harper out waiting for the official decision. There's going to be all kinds of penalties handed out here on either side. Burnett might have been let out of the box. Perhaps he's just telling his teammates on the bench what he saw, what he expects to be the ruling. So 2-1 is the score. We're exactly halfway through the first period. The RoadRunners with the lead, despite being doubled 8-4 in shots on net. So there are only 22 seconds remaining on the tripping penalty against Emil Granso, the Topeka goaltender. What I saw unfold was Kareem Del Ponte kind of swiveling back in his own zone, trying to make a play without turning it over, and he got all tangled up with one of the RoadRunners forecheckers. Unfortunately, couldn't identify who it was, and they just kind of went spiraling around one by one like a vortex, each taking each other down. I'm sure they could have called a penalty on each side for that, and then Del Ponte was pretty upset from it, and one thing led to another. Pushes and shoves led to punches, and I wouldn't be surprised if Matt Barnes is out for the rest of this period with what he was doing over there to C.J. Walker. He was throwing one cheap shot after another on a guy who didn't want to fight. So right now he's sitting, Matt Barnes, but folks, don't be surprised to see him skating off here. There's exactly 10 minutes to go, so if it's a 10-minute misconduct penalty, then Barnes' period will be over and he'll be escorted off the ice. $1,500 or so in the audience voicing their opinions, but only one opinion's going to matter here. Donahue skates over to the Wildcats bench. Harper skates to the RoadRunners bench to give the decision here. Looks like the faceoff's going to be in the Wildcats zone, and so far, based on what we see on the Jumbotron, there's nothing that's been handed out, which would mean everything that's been called is going to offset each other. What a mess of penalties to deal with already here. It's probably going to be a long game full of that. Well, certainly don't envy Dan Grimaudo in this situation. It's could be a very long night for the referee. Fans screaming, "Let's play." Skinner heads to the penalty box as well. I didn't see him involved in any of that. Skinner given a 2-minute penalty. Not sure what the call is, and nor is the PA announcer. Still 22 seconds to go on the penalty against Alex Fry. Well, technically, Emil Granso. Fry was the one serving it. And I don't think Topeka's going to get anything else, so Skinner must have made some sort of retaliatory act. I'm guessing the Cats will be shorthanded in 22 seconds, it looks like. Still nothing showing on Hockey Tech right now. So as soon as we know the ruling, folks, we'll let you know what it is. Could be unsportsmanlike or roughing or something like that called against Jeff Skinner. So the 4-on-4 just about to end in a dozen seconds here. Donahue lets it go past him for Ilya Skvortsov, who carries in. Skvortsov on the right side. He tries to dangle past Amadio, goes in behind the net, still with it on his stick. Skvortsov drops it off for Seamus. Cuts into the front of the net, backhand shot, stopped by the pad of Emil Granso, and now the Runners are on a power play here. after all that happens is a Roadrunner power play. 5-on-4 for the next minute and 25 seconds. Rosenbaum carrying it confidently in behind the net. And the puck swatted off his stick by Seamus, and the Cats clear. Ilias Kvortsov gets it all the way down. Cats fall to 1-for-1 on the Starbright Cleaners power play. Can they go to 1-for-1 on the Parkway Grill penalty kill? Tilly forechecking, joined by Ricky Carballo on the ice right now. On defense, it is Ryan Orgel and Seamus Donahue. Tilly clears it. Already half the Roadrunner power play has expired. Trevor Zins up and onto the left side. DeRoche leaving it off. Here comes Topeka. Marshall Bowery. Roman Canal swats at it, can't clear. Harper gave it away. Carballo looking up ice. Nearly had a breakaway there for Tilly, but it was read and intercepted by Max Harper. Zins. Bowery sweeps one along. DeRoche with a nice pass. Here's a shot and a goal. Mikowski let it rip. Went low blocker side on Jared Dempsey. 3-1 Topeka. Nice play by John DeRoche to split through the Wildcats defenders, get a little bit of open ice, and find an opening for Jeff Mikowski, who ripped it low blocker side on Dempsey. A very tough save to make for the Wildcats goaltender. Topeka up 3-1. Topeka 1-for-1 on their power play. Canal finds Walker. Some open ice out at center. Rattles it around the boards, and Emil Granso, aided by Rosenbaum, try to clear. Rosenbaum plays it behind his own net. Jay Karanen gets it past his own blue line. Sipus will throw it back into the Rosenbaum corner. We'll go D-to-D with it. Sipus gets the pass from the right point. Long wrist shot. Chest save. Rebound pushed wide of the net by C.J. Walker. Big juicy rebound given up there by Emil Granso. Now it's taken and sent back to the left point by Ripley. Canal scales the wall with it. Tilly, Sipus, Canal left point. Tries to find a lane to get it through. Nigel Nelson blocked it. C.J. Walker for Blake Ripley, or Tilly rather, far corner. Canal pinching very aggressively down the boards, pressuring Nelson, who will end up with it for Topeka, and he gets it out. Fry lost it. Walker will slam it back in. The Cats top line tonight doing some good work in the offensive zone, but nothing came from it. The Roadrunners have just iced the puck. Cats will be on the road next week. It'll be just their third road game of the season next Wednesday, Thanksgiving Eve, against the Lone Star Brahmas, 7:30 p.m. puck drop out at the Nitec Sports Center. If you're a Wildcats fan tuning in from Wichita Falls, not too long of a drive as Waring rips one from the right point that hit a stick and deflected into the chest of Emil Granso, and another fight emerging shortly after the fact. The linesmen are going to have a busy night, that's for sure. Trent Williams and Michael Miggins both with a lot of work to do. So what I'm seeing right now is that Kareem Del Ponte was given a holding minor, but he also had to serve a roughing double minor. So Del Ponte's still in the box, and Skinner didn't do anything. He just took Del Ponte's place. Burnett throws it in front past the stick of Fees. Right point Waring. Past Fees all the way around to the other side, the left side. Orgel shoveling at it. Goes through Burnett out to Regula, who's playing the left point in Orgel's stead. Orgel back up high now, circling to the right point with a shot. Granso makes the save. Waring keeps it, slaps it down low towards Burnett. He gets it, centers it, picked off by Marshall Bowery. His teammates were in the midst of a line change. Bendorf outplaying in defense right now, and we get a whistle, a helmet popped loose. Not sure who it belongs to, probably Marshall Bowery. Looks like that is Bowery's helmet. Let's see how he lost it there. 6:27 to go in the first period. Topeka up 3-1 despite being outshot 11-5. And now, like Wichita Falls might be losing somebody. Was that Roman Canal? I couldn't tell. Somebody skated off the ice for the Wildcats. That wasn't Canal. Might have been Skvortsov. No, it wasn't Skvortsov. Boy, folks, I have no idea who that was. Could not see the number. Just saw the side of his jersey. It looks like there'll be another Wildcats penalty. It might have been CJ Regula. Cats back to the PK. They're 0 for 1 on the night. Topeka's first power play goal came off the stick of Jeff Mikowski. Ethan Daniels will head over there probably to serve a penalty for somebody else. Seen that twice already here in this first period. Topeka wins the offensive zone face-off to Dempsey's left. Rosenbaum up high. Got to go across there. Carballo gets the outlet pass. Tilley turns on the Jets to help him out and give him someone to pass to. Carballo spun it through the goal mouth. A little bit too far for Tilley. Hart goes behind his net. Rosenbaum is there. Andrew Hart down his off wing, cutting past Seamus on his backhand. He swivels towards the corner. Andrew Hart lays one beneath the net. Now it's Alex Fry. Fry backhands one up high. Carballo pokes the puck away. He's got a 2-on-1. Tilley joins him. Carballo right side, holding, centering. Tilley shoots and he scores! It's a short-handed goal for Stephen Tilley, his third goal in just 2 games. The Cats have cut the deficit to 1. .5:47 to go in this first period. The Cats have just cut the Topeka lead to 3-2. What a brilliant play made by Ricky Carballo. He knew that he had Tilley down the left side. He knew Tilley was streaking down his weak side, which meant that he could have just thrown it through the blue paint, and all Tilley had to do was just tap it in. He didn't have to adjust and get a one-time option just squared away in his wheelhouse. All he had to do was reach his stick out and tuck it into the gaping 4x6 net to score a short-handed goal. That's Tilley's first short-handed goal of the season. Oh, and we get a disagreement right off the face-off. Ilya Skvortsov had some words for Marshall Bowery there. But that is Stephen Tilley's 7th goal, and he is on fire right now, folks, as is Ricky Carballo, who's having a great series, and Skvortsov being kicked off for slashing. And the crowd not liking that call whatsoever. Crowd really letting the referee hear it right now, folks. Oh, and this isn't good. We just saw something thrown onto the ice. And that's not what you want to see. Looked like it was just a towel thrown onto the ice from Section 4, I believe. And we hope that doesn't cause a domino effect. Ilya Skvortsov was given a slashing penalty, which will put Topeka to the 5-on-3. And Charles Campbell, the PA announcer, who has been around for a long time. He's been with this franchise since they were the Wichita Falls Rustlers. 13 years of experience doing this job under his belt. And he has just told everyone to remain calm and to refrain from throwing things onto the ice. Hopefully everyone here listens to him. But they are not happy. You can probably hear the boos on Hockey TV and on YouTube right now. Nice work by Poikula. Helped out by Orgel, he manages to clear. Taken down to the left side by Fry. And another penalty against Wichita Falls, I believe, for slashing. Fry was defended by Ryan Orgel, and you got to be kidding me. Unbelievable. Fry lost his stick, maybe because he wasn't hanging onto it hard enough. Three straight penalties. Before the one against Regula is even over. That one's still got 50 seconds to go. Even after that comes to an end, the Cats will still be on the 5-on-3 penalty kill. So Daniels still serving Regula's penalty, and then Skvortsov still with 1:36 to go for slashing. Once that one ends, Skvortsov will be back on the ice, but by that time this game might be over. We're sentencing the Wildcats to a very long 5-on-3 penalty to kill off when I've really seen absolutely nothing that would instigate that should cause that. This early in the game, 5:23 to go in the first period still. And Orgel was just given a slashing penalty as well. Long 5-on-3 to work with for Topeka. Right off the defensive zone face-off, the Wildcats managed to clear it. Alex Fry turns on the Jets for the RoadRunners, is able to gain the blue line despite Poikla's best efforts, and then a second opportunity there. Poikla knocked it out of the zone. Able to kill off a few more seconds. Fry right back in. Russell gets it right point, knocked away by Poikla. What a defensive shift he's having on this 5-on-3. Couldn't ask for a better defensive forward, to help kill off this very extended 5-on-3 RoadRunners power play. Marcus Russell tries to get it past Seamus. DeRoche has it near corner. He will slide it on towards Mikowski. Now it's Bowery up high, looking for a lane. Sets it up. Rosenbaum returns it. Bowery at the top of the umbrella. Fans on the pass. Recovers, gets it past Canal. And the puck is thrown through Mikowski's stick all the way back out, and the fans applauding the whiffed chance there by Topeka. 35 seconds to go before Skvortsov is let out. Peyton Franti, right wing, centers it. Harper is into the net. Backhander, pad save, rebound. What a save by Dempsey! Dempsey with two huge stops. First on Franti, and then again on Andrew Hart. So Daniels is let out, having served Regula's penalty. 21 seconds before Skvortsov is let out, and then another 1:40 for Orgel. Cats now 1 for 2 on the Parkway Grill penalty kill. It's already been a very taxing night for the penalty killers for Wichita Falls. Stephen Tilley wins the defensive zone face-off and shovels it off of Franti at the left point, and the puck just nearly crossed the blue line, but it didn't. The RoadRunners keep it. Good back check by Tilley, and he clears it. What an effort done by Alexei Poikla and Stephen Tilley, the forwards who've had to play very defensively, forwards in name only, for the last couple of minutes. Tilley gets another good stick on the pass that was supposed to be a horizontal pass. Daniels and Carballo both giving Tilley fist bumps on the bench for his efforts there. And now the Cats, Ilya Skvortsov, they have him out of the box, so it's a 5-on-4 for the next 1:05 for Topeka. Here's the trailer. Bowery sidesteps Fees, then he tried to filter it through him. Fees clears. Skvortsov turns on the Jets, trying to pursue it. Trying to slash Peyton Franti. He's got to be careful, does Ilya. Here comes Franti. Puck knocked back to the blue line, kept alive by Hart. He lost it to Roman, who clears it. And if the Wildcats can manage to go through this entire penalty without conceding a goal, that is certainly going to be a huge momentum booster for them. Skvortsov steals it. He centers, just missing the stick of Donahue. He had nothing but a good 30 feet of ice to work with, probably in front of him. He just missed his stick. Carballo steals it. Lost it to Mikowski. Granowicz coughs it up. Roman will just flop one ahead off the far side boards. Carballo tries to squeeze past Mikowski. Can't do it, but he manages to get it into the far corner. Barnes goes down. 2 seconds and 1, and that has done it. The Cats back to the 5-on-5 at full strength now. DeRoche carries down the left wing, going wide on Canal. Swoops in behind the net, then he centers. Carballo picks it off. Walker's got a breakaway. C.J. Walker in alone to the net. He scores! Tie game. C.J. Walker's got his first goal as a Wildcat. This place is going nuts. C.J. Walker's parents and his younger brother in attendance from Boise, Idaho, watching him play live at K. Yeager for the first time here this weekend. With a huge goal for the Wildcats, he has tied the game. That's the Cats' 13th shot on net, their third goal. Topeka still just with 6 shots on net despite a very long 5-on-3 to work with. And what did I tell you, folks? Right after that Topeka power play was killed, it was so long and there were so many changes that had to be made that by the time it was done, it was just a mad scramble at the bench trying to sort out the lines and get the right lines back on the ice. And in the midst of that, Topeka pretty much left the neutral zone wide open for C.J. Walker to just loom there. And Carballo, I believe it was, found him. And C.J. Walker with a breakaway from center ice in, able to go from his forehand to his backhand and roof it over top of the right pad of Emil Granso, who's welcome to the NAHL, Emil Granso. I tell you, you're going to make your goaltending debut. They probably don't. They probably can't prepare you for a game like this. Doyle intercepts it in behind the Wildcats' goal, then tries to throw it through the slot. Picked up now and backhanded by Mikowski, and Dempsey makes the save with the paddle down. This last minute of play is brought to you by La Quinta Inn & Suites, the Wildcats' official host hotel. $1:05 to go in the first period. Again, we're tied at 3. C.J. Walker has just scored his first goal as a Wildcat on a beautiful breakaway backhand or forehand backhand move to beat Granso over the pad. Tilly wins the defensive zone draw to Dempsey's left. Del Ponte will try to clear. Bendorf there waiting for it in the neutral zone. Chips it past everybody into the Topeka end. DiMatteo gets it as far as Hart. Topeka can't clear it. Picked out by Skinner, who shoots, and that one fooled Granso. It's loose and covered up on the goal line by Emil Granso. My goodness, he coughed it up. He made the chest save, and it rolled towards the goal line. Granso popped on it as puck deflects off the netting and out of play. Faceoff's going to take place to Granso's right. Native of Gentoft, Denmark, which is currently where former Wildcat Andre Paisan is playing professionally for the Gentoft Stars in the Danish Medal League, Denmark's top professional league. I think Daniels jumped the gun on the faceoff, and Bendorf's going to replace him. I think Bendorf's the one who's supposed to be the center on this line anyways, though the two of them pretty interchangeable. Now Bendorf gets booted, so Skinner, who's not a center, is going to have to take the draw. He wins the faceoff. Donahue. Barnes crunched up by Skinner now, and DeRoche backhands Skinner. Dick pops high in the air there, and then Barnes lost an edge. He went tumbling down. Max Harper down the left wing in the neutral zone. Mikowski will swat it in after Harper ran into some traffic. Dempsey tried to clear it around the boards. It rolls slowly towards Bendorf, who will bat it behind his own net. Seamus Donahue has it with 14 to go in the first period. Donahue for Del Ponte for Bendorf. Slithers one along down the far half board. Zins is going to angle it off the glass. Can't clear it past a jumping Bendorf, but time's going to expire. We did not want to predict the outcome of this third game with good reason. Look what happened in that first period. Could anyone have predicted what happened there? 3 goals on just 5 shots for Topeka. It was the Cats who did score first. The Runners got 3 unanswered on just 5 shots. And then the Wildcats went to a very, very long 5-on-3 penalty kill off of several questionable calls in a row against them. They score shorthanded on the 5-on-4. Ricky Carballo breaks with Stephen Tilley. Carballo fed Tilley for his 7th goal of the season. And then, right after the very long penalty was killed off, C.J. Walker, amidst all the chaos on the Roadrunner bench with the line changing going on, C.J. Walker finds an opening behind everybody. That soft little area behind the Roadrunners bench. Given the pass by Ricky Carballo, and Walker had nothing but green pastures skating up probably a good 50 feet all the way to the net. Was able to beat Emil Grantso with a nice forehand-backhand move to tie the game up heading into period 2. We're going to take a break from K. Yeager Coliseum. When we come back, we'll have some scoreboard updates from around the North American Hockey League and talk about what needs to be done heading into period 2. When we come back, stay with us, folks. And here comes Matt getting the end of a shift. So Granowicz has a goal to his credit. Donahue's a little bit too far for Burnett, but that was John Day with a hat trick last night. Can't Donahue, who read his effort like a book, was able to chip it in. It went off the glass. Roadrunners bench out of play. Scores from around the updates for you from around the league and hockey, brought to you by American Class. Cooley Region have their year in the Midwest Division. You know who isn't surprising is good for 5th points ahead of Fairbanks. So for Alexei, and he made something out of it. And Alexei Ryan Snowden and then half the first power play, and then went shorthanded, and didn't really appear like anything crazy was going to happen after that. But with 11 minutes or so, maybe 12 minutes into that third period, that's when things started to get interesting. CJ Ragu, Tilley, Orgel, and Seamus on the ice. I think he rather throws up under Del Ponte. His shot deflects off a Roadrunner. Good diagonal passes there. Barnes, who's got a Roadrunner, that's his 7th point.